Hello, hello, hello. Okay, so I thought it's important to um, kind of show you guys how to prepare for a Model UN conference. We're going to be attending KSU Mon, and we have like 2 or 3 weeks to get this done. I think I told you guys Spears are due next Tuesday, that being like the week of the 20th to 22nd. I don't know, something around there. So because we have a meeting after school on Tuesday from 3:40 to 4:40 or later, however far we need to do, however, Ishan and I kind of can gauge of where we are uh, and kind of where we have to be. So before then, I kind of wanted to show you guys how to prepare for a Model UN conference. What are the steps to do? How are you going to really prepare yourself? So I'll kind of go through that with you guys. So I'm just going to be sharing my screen. Does this work? Is this working? Okay. So steps preparing for a Model UN conference. The first step you're going to want to do is, hopefully we all have, know your country and your committee. You might want to do a little bit of background on your committee, like if you're WHO, I mean, you obviously know that you're the World Health Organization, right? If we had more time, I probably would have gone to every single committee and kind of taught you guys a little bit what they do. Also, just one quick thing, my phone number and my email are up here. I want you guys to reach out to me. And I want you guys to share your experience with me with this email right here. And if you have any questions at all, just text me. I don't care if it's in the middle of class. Just text me or email me, and I will do the best I can to try to answer your questions. And I really want to have the opportunity to read through all you guys' position papers because I think it's going to be super important. Okay, the second step to preparing for a Model UN conference is read and learn, really learn your background guide. Now, where can you get these background guides? Well, just look up KSU Mon. There you're going to find this. You can go right here to your delegate preparation. Pretty much every single Mon conference you're going to go to is going to have the same kind of layout. Okay, then you find all your committees. I'm going to be doing WHO for this one because that's kind of what I'm in, and yeah. So you open this up right here. Also, here are your 2 topics. Remember, every committee has 2 topics, and you'll be voting on which topic to go first. If you do a ton of research on number 2 and you don't do a lot of number 1, and then the rest of the people would prefer to do number 1, because it's taken to a vote. If the rest of the people prefer to do number 1 and then number 2, you're going to be in a bad position. So you want to make sure that you thoroughly research both topics in respects to your country. So here is your background guide. This is a little shorter than like NAMA and some other stuff, some other conferences that we've been to. However, it's still substantial because I kind of flipped through it earlier. This is your background guide. Here is some. Here are the. Here's a little information about your chair a little bit. Since we're not in person, I usually say we usually kind of know a little bit about your chair so you can talk to them and stuff. But that's really not. We're not in person. So it's gonna be kind of hard, but relevant, fun. Anyway, so your position papers are due March 4th. This is from last. I think this is from. Oh, never mind. By March 9th. Okay, so I guess that's up to each committee. The website says March 4th, but I think double check with that. I kind of want to submit them to the conference on March 4th. Yes. So here's kind of what I was talking about, the background of your committee as a whole. Everyone's going to have a history of their committee. So this is the history of the WHO, what their objectives are, kind of their priorities and stuff like that. A little bit of history. And this is where you get into the depth of your information. So for mine, the first topic was improving mental health care access. I'm the country Canada. So as I'm reading this, I kind of want to start formulating and think about it as Canada. So I want you guys to read these. Everybody read your own and know them backwards and forwards. If you want to do some more extra work, these sources right here are sometimes super helpful to read because that's where they're getting their information from. If you are able to pull a lot of stats, some of these may have a lot of statistics from that, then you'll maybe that's some helpful information to get, some helpful resources. Model UN conferences, they always look favorably upon statistics. Just try to come up with reliable sources for your statistics. If you say like some really weird URL website that some news source, some Saudi Arabian news source that you went to. No hate on any Saudi Arabian media. However, like if your country is like Canada, I don't know how credible Saudi Arabian news sources for the topic of mental health. So try to find something that's pretty credible. I usually lean towards actual UN.org. UN.org is things that work. Yeah, just UN.org sources. Those are usually the best. So like stuff like WHO, UNHCR, and those committees, they always have helpful stuff. The UN themselves have programs and stuff. So you always just try to do that. And we'll get into that more with the spears. So I want everybody to read these and get them backwards and forwards. And for each topic. So what that right there was topic number 1. Then you get into topic number 2. So coordinating member states' response to viral pandemics. Is this showing? Is this showing? Okay, I just hope it's sharing. I'll double check it later. So this shows like the community directive. Read the community directive and know that, because if you're fully versed but you don't really know what the directive is, you're going to be arguing the wrong point, and you'll be trying to come up with resolutions and stuff that don't follow the directive. So it's always important not to get too carried away and try to stay grounded with the directive. Through all your research, try to come back to this background guide as much as you can. So now onto the nitty-gritty. After you've read this and have a pretty good understanding of it, I want you guys to start doing spears. Now, what are spears? So step 3, spears. And I guess step 4 would be write your position paper. And then submit them to Ishan and I so we can read them over and go over them with you. If you want, I'm more than happy to go over it with you after you send to me, or even as you're writing it. As you're writing it, if you want to send me a part, Darren, how does this look? I'm there. I'll be able to read it. Spears. So that's my topic. So I'm just kind of show you guys how to do it. So what does SPEAR stand for? SPAR. By the way, there's no extra S. That's just spears because plural of spear. Helpful website is Best Delegate. It's about min. That's not okay. Great. There you go. So Best Delegate is a super good program. Their stuff is great. You can also watch this video if you want. It's just so. What are your spears? Your spears are speeches, programs, events, agreements, and reports. So we're gonna copy this part. So your speeches, your programs, your events, your agreements, and your reports. Okay. Wow, it's horrible spacing. Comic Sans. Yay. Okay. So what does that mean? What is a speech? They kind of do a good job summing up here. Have government officials in your country made any significant speeches about a topic at hand? So if my topic is about mental health care access, I may want to find something that, okay, well, you guys should know this, but you want to look up some of the governmental people, some like your prime minister, right? Obviously Justin Trudeau, but prime minister, and then other major people in the government. So whether you're prime minister, your president, something like that. So that's always helpful. So you have Justin Trudeau. So what are some stuff that Justin? What is that? That's a funny word. Justin Trudeau mental health. It's just starting off. There, we already have something on Mental Health Week. Good, how it's so critical to our well-being and is dismissed as less urgent or deserving our care attention. This is already great. He talks about the discrimination. He talks about stigma, and this is also in relation to COVID-19. A lot of times you're going to find overlap between your topics. My topics, where are my topics again? Improving mental health care access and considering member states' response to viral pandemic, coordinating that to viral pandemics. There is middle ground there. like right now, you guys are probably aware of this, but there are a lot of people who are facing a lot of anxiety and mental health issues during the pandemic, right? Because they can't have access to their normal psychiatrists or psychologists that they usually go to. So that's the overlap. I know a lot of you guys are going to have some overlap. So speeches. What I just saw was a statement. A statement's a speech, whatever. That's kind of the same thing, right? So, text with that, the pandemic has threatened our safety, disrupted our daily lives, and disconnected us from the regular support networks. Many people are left feeling isolated, anxious, and afraid of the future. So this, although it does not directly relate to improving healthcare access, it's something that you could say to better one of your arguments. Like, this is what Justin Trudeau says about mental health. This is how Justin Trudeau views mental health during this global pandemic. That's something you could put. Just take that URL, just put it there. Okay, well, that's horrible. Great. Huh. Okay, so then after each one, write some quick points as to what this was. So this is mostly about the global pandemic, so we could talk about time. What did I just do? Okay. Time to reflect on I don't really know how that works. What just happened? Okay. Does that still work? Yeah, that works. Okay. Time to reflect on our well-being. I think he said something like that. Well-being. Go back. Look here. It's critical. Mental health is particularly challenging. COVID-19. Why is this pause? This is so weird. Give me a second. Let me try to fix this. There. That's still okay. Good. Okay. COVID-19 has put a greater strain. And you guys talk about the isolation a little bit, stuff like that. So obviously you're gonna have to do a little bit more than this. I'm just trying to give you guys a little kind of background. Before it does. Yeah. Okay. So next, programs. What are some programs that Canada has done to improve mental health care access? You could straight up look that up. What are some programs Canada has done to improve mental health care? Ignore my spelling. Okay. Ooh, there's already something there. This is Canada.ca. It's pretty great. Look at this. So this is improving mental health care. That does he really? So you got to figure out and see if he talks about. Oh, also here's a quote. Great. I mean, you could use that quote too. See, all this is about the COVID-19 pandemic. That's great. I think that we could talk about both of them. So systemic challenges and barriers, including by Black Canadians. Health equity and address the underlying determinants of health. Development and implementation of culturally focused mental health programs. Bam. So what's the access? It helps. You gotta stay side with your topic. Your topic is improving mental health care access. How do they improve mental health care access? By investing $11.5 million to support the development and implementation of culturally focused mental health programs. That is banger. That's great. That's a program, right? Go right here. I'm not gonna do too thoroughly about this. I don't really. Y'all just format it however you want, but just try to make it kind of sort of legible or whatever. Okay, or follow, not legible. Typing is legible, but to be able to follow it. So 11.5 million for mental health programs. Yeah, whatever. That increases the access. Do more than this, but this is your bare bones. Events. What are some events that the Canadian government has supported, has attended, has held themselves? What are some events they've held or something like that? So you could look up Canada mental health events. Okay, well, this is not going to give you very much. This is all in. This is going to be a little harder to find because. Sorry. Where is mental health here? Mental Health Week. Here they have something on their governmental website that talks about Mental Health Week, National Child and Youth Mental Health Day. What else do they have? 1, 2, 3. World Mental Health Day. So these are all calendars of health promotion days. Okay, these are not really events. I guess they are events. Not all are endorsed, but the sheer fact that they have these I don't think it really falls under any of your spirit categories. But this is .ca, Canadian Mental Health Organization. This is an event. Mental Health Week. This is an event they're holding. It's in 73 days, but it's still an event this year that they're holding. Also, topic stuff. You can go back to like the 1990s. It doesn't matter, but actually it does kind of matter. If something in the 1990s might not be as helpful as something from the 2000s or something from 2011, 2015, 2017. This is 2021, right? That's even better. Actually, I think this might have been 2020 that they said this, but whatever. It's fine. Yeah, look. See, as I'm going through this, I'm finding more stuff. Like the Justin Trudeau stood with CMHA. He got real Canadians delivering a mental health week video message. He declared, "Let's get loud." You can click here. Obviously, this is just for my material. Nice. It's just a Facebook video.
Of Mental Health Week. And this year, the Canadian Mental Health Association is encouraging Canadians not to just get loud about mental health, but to get real about it. Our lives have been transformed because of COVID-19. You might feel like this crisis is taking its toll.
It's too slow.
Your daily routine might be different. Your way of coping might be more difficult to manage, and it can be a source of anxiety and stress.
Okay, so mental health just supporting physical health, we need to speak openly, blah, 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 right? By connecting socially with others online, we can let people know that they're not alone. This is an important thing that he's saying. He's endorsing the connection of people. If I were you, on top of your spears, I'd have another document open, or even in the same document as your spears. You could just kind of have another notes section, notes, whatever, and that you could write some stuff here, blah, blah, blah. That might be helpful because some of the stuff is not going to fall underneath spears. But there's just a guide to help you research. Agreements. What do they say about agreements? Has your country signed or ratified any UN resolutions or regional group agreements about the topic? Great. Canada mental health agreements or plans even. What is this? Canada Ontario Care Mental Health and Addiction Service Funding Agreement. Bam. I'm not going to go through all this with you guys, but because it's only probably helpful to. It's only helpful to me. So, but this is kind of how I'm finding stuff. So look, this is an agreement by the government of Canada. It's always great. .ca websites are great, whatever. So, actually, I think .ca is just .com. So I don't know if it's governmental or not, but this is the government of Canada.ca. That's pretty much as governmental as you're going to get. I could use this as an agreement. You don't have to go and explain all the agreements that they kind of did. What was that event? I don't want to lose that. It's kind of a helpful event. Yeah. Mental Health Week.ca events. Okay. Lastly, reports. Okay, so just reiterate the agreements, right? this is just an agreement, right? An agreement that we found. So we can use this in our agreement side. If you're giving a speech or something, you could say, yo, don't say yo. Honorable Chair and fellow delegates, Canada has signed many agreements and attended many events that promote positive mental health and promote the access of mental health care. So this is a service funding agreement. Obviously, if you're funding something, you're increasing the access. You're increasing. So that directly ties back into our topic, or my topic. Sorry. So yeah. So this is also going to play a huge role in your position paper, because half your position paper is what has your country done, and then at the end is what could your country do. You can say continue or expand the Canada-Ontario Home and Community Care, Mental Health, and Addiction Services Funding Agreement. You can continue that, right? So that is there. Lastly, reports. Has your country published or contributed to any reports that have information about this topic? I never really understood reports. I always kind of thought it was agreements and events, but we can. Has your country published or contributed to any reports that have information about? Okay, this is just information to access to mental health care. So Canada mental health reports. Canada govern, guys, I can't type. CAMHA, mental facts and statistics. This is, okay. Is my Wi-Fi just like not working? I'm just gonna sit here and wait for this to load. No, we won't. Yes, we will. Okay. So we gotta make sure this is endorsed. Okay. So this is just statistics, whatever. So is this a report by the Canadian government? No, this is a report by a specific thing. I don't think this is backed by the Canadian government at all. So you can't use this. You can't use this for your position paper. You can, however, use this information on statistics. Like you say, yo, my country only has, okay. Well, these statistics are not the best, but if this is a lot less than the mental health of the global and mental health issues, then you could use that to your advantage. Like, look, Canada has had these agreements, these reports, these events, and look, our mental health, we are down. We have 50% less suicide rate than any other country per person, whatever. And just, I don't really know. Just that example of something you could say, or something you could use to advantage using specific statistics. One thing I'll say is once you get all your experience, get statistics for everything. Every claim you want to say, get stats. That's super helpful and super important, because people are going to ask you, did you just make that up, right? And statistics, so make sure you have resources too, because people might call you out for that. So let's try to find some reports. Some Canadian government mental health care reports. This is, I think this is backed by the government. Yep, this is backed by the government. Is this a report? I want statistics. It's not a report. Once again, this will probably be the hardest section, and it's probably the least important section too, in my opinion. I guess you could say this is a report. It's a report on what it is. It explains. It doesn't really show stats, but it shows kind of what it is. Information. This has information about the topic, so it's a report. That's a report. Whatever. I am not really looking for the reports as much. Although, if for your topic, if they matter a lot, they could be helpful. I feel like this is this kind of stuff that you just are gonna have to research anyway, but they won't be like generalized to a certain country. Yeah. So that's gonna be helpful. That's your spears as they relate to your country. So this is all your country's stance as a whole for one topic. You're gonna have to do this again. So I want like 5 for each report, so you can do like 3. But for agreements, events, programs, and speeches, give me 5 for each. It seems harder than it is because once you start finding stuff, you're gonna start finding more and more and more. Some of these I already have 2 for, just by in other ones I'll be able to. I didn't write them down, but I had them there. So you will go on to your second topic and do the exact same thing. Once again, make sure you know your background guide. That's the most important. These are your spears and spears work for your country's stance. Another part of your position paper is the topic as a whole and not only your country's stance. So you're also going to want to research what are some problems with mental health care access right now? Because why do we need to improve it, right? What are the problems right now? Get some statistics, some stuff like that over the topic as generally, as it relates to every country. Because if you're the entire time talking about Canada only does this, Canada does that, it's going to be kind of boring. You're like, as a mankind as a whole faces mental health issues. We have 95% suicide rate. That's not right, but just let's say we have super high suicide rates across the globe, right? We need to improve this because people are not able to get the access to mental health care. They're not able to get the mental health care. And that needs to be improved, obviously, as that's the topic, right? Also, sounds good if you, during your speeches, pull stuff from the background guide, because these, like, I don't know, in case probably college kids, they poured their heart out to write this 7-page whatever document about all the information. And if you just neglect to read it, then they're not gonna be too happy. So it's always good to show them that you know the background guide. And this is because they spent time writing this. The H1 and Naaman ones are like so much, like 30 pages or so, right? But the least you could do is know your background guide, front and back, right? Don't actually memorize it, guys. I just know the major points. Okay, so those are your spears. Now the last part of this is position paper, which I will go into a little bit in a different kind of, I guess, video or meeting, whatever. I don't really know, because that's going to be a little harder because we're not there yet. We got to finish the spears first. After position papers, we're going to have to prepare speeches. You know, you're not actually, I don't think you're actually supposed to prepare speeches. I'm not even sure what the rules for KSU is, if you're allowed to have a speech going in or not. I think you are. I think you're allowed to have speeches going in. But for your own self, we're going to practice speeches. We're going to practice. If you happen to memorize them and you happen to have written them down at a time and memorize that information, well, I mean, you can use it, right? So that's a speech. Okay, that's not a speech, but yeah, you get it. So once you get your speeches, you're going to be good. You're going to be good. You're going to go in there and you're going to be confident. You're going to be strong. You're going to be strong delegates and you're going to come home with awards. I have faith in every single person that you can get awards. I was really, the entire time staring at myself and not the camera. But I have faith in every single one of you that you can get awards during this conference. It's going to take work. It's going to take a lot of work. But I have faith you can do it. I really want to bring home some awards this year. And I think all of us can do it. I want strong position papers, because without a strong foundation, you're not going to be able to do too well. I mean, some of you guys are really good at BSing yourself around speeches, and that's pretty helpful sometimes with Model UN. Yeah. So that's pretty helpful with Model UN, because you're going to get in situations where you don't know what they're talking about, right? I couldn't even understand some of the diction that people were using because it was too complicated for me. That's also at Naaman. KSU Mun is not as intensive as like Naaman or H1 are, but you still can. Also, by the way, Naaman is the conference we went to in Georgetown, and Washington D.C. Last year. I always reference it because it's one of the largest conferences I've been to. So, but anyway. those are your 5 steps. That's your spears. What your spears do by next Tuesday. This video, probably most of you not going to watch it. If you got here, thumbs up to you. Once again, text me and email me if you have any questions whatsoever. I don't care what time it is. I'll probably be awake. If I'm not, I will probably wake up. So just give me your stuff and I will help you. Give me the opportunity to help you. I think that's going to be the end of this. I may or may not make another one about me actually writing my position paper. If you need resources, just let me know and I'll help you. And I think that's the end of it. So we're going to go over, I'm going to make another one for procedure. So watch that one too. Bye. Goodbye.